we're a week removed from the 29th. Has your misery and sadness and depression faded yet?
About Spence?
Yeah, about Spence.
Do you know what? His performance was so bad. And,
Yes.
You know, like, he didn't show up so much that, like, it doesn't hurt that much to me, but I was definitely incredibly disappointed that we didn't get the sort of pound-for-pound war that we were promised.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the biggest thing. Like, I could take Crawford even winning by stoppage, but like we didn't get anything out of that. We just got our lunch money taken.
We didn't get the contest at all.
Yeah, it wasn't the battle for the ages. It was a bit deflated. I think it was like at maybe halfway through round 2. I'm like, man, this shit's over. It's just a matter of how this ends for Crawford to win. It was really unfortunate.
We've had worse L's this last couple of months. So with Whittaker losing, I was more sad about Whittaker losing than.
Terrence Crawford is the undisputed welterweight champion. It just doesn't have the same appeal, I guess.
I mean, rematch at 154, right? So I think that would favour Spence in terms of that he doesn't have to cut down to that weight. I hope we do see it, because I definitely think that Spence did have an off night and he didn't show up or whatever. So if they do rematch and Spence doesn't turn up like that, I imagine that it's a much, much closer affair, whether he wins or not. I probably am convinced now that he won't win the rematch, but I think without him depleting himself to get to 47, and with the skill that we know he does have, you know, that was a bad performance from him. I still think it's a fucking thrilling contest at 54. I really do, the rematch.
I really want to have your optimism there. It's just, I'm not sure where Spence improves in the areas he needs to for that fight. Like, he goes up to 154, maybe his cardio is better, he's got better punch resistance, but like, you can't get time from that right from the get-go all night. Like, he was getting his jab countered. That's bad.
But Bud, that was Bud's game plan, right? To take away Spence's most powerful weapon, which is arguably their jab. And once Bud had taken that jab out of the equation, Spence couldn't adjust. He had no plan B to go to. And I think that was a big part of what caused him to look so bad on the night.
I will say, from a fantasy fight perspective, that's probably the only thing that's better with Crawford winning, because now we're looking toward Crawford versus Jamel. And if Spence had won, that kind of would have just killed the division dead, I think. Like, Spence would have moved up, Mel would have moved up, and they would have, you wouldn't have as much big fight potential out of that outcome. But that's also just cope, because I would have traded that in a heartbeat for Spence to win.
Oh, I forgot. I had tagged this episode of the Ultimate Fucking Casual as the Big Fish Fry Deluxe Edition.
Aww.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's my heart going into it too, so that's fine. A very solemn intro into the Ultimate Fucking Casual. Who's that? That's me. I picked Errol Spence and Dustin Poirier to win, so I'm the Ultimate Fucking Casual. I don't know shit about boxing, MMA, street fighting, bum fights. I don't know anything about fight sports. Unfortunately, I am joined.
You just don't know shit.
I don't know shit about
That's
anything.
what it is.
I don't know anything about anything. Fortunately, I'm joined by some guys who do. Nathan, Chief, my good buddies here. We're gonna go over the last 2 weeks of UFC and the next 2 weeks of UFC. I should say MMA there. I shouldn't synonymize those, but whatever. Kind of is, unfortunately. We were talking a bit about Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. Bit of a clown show. Am I right? I didn't watch. I decided to do something else.
It was exactly how you'd expect it to be going into it. You know, Nate couldn't really box to the level that Jake could, and you know, the best Diaz did was just sort of zombie forward with his hands up. But
I will say, if there was ever a fight that got me to believe in like scripts, that genuinely could have been it, because every beat you could have expected or predicted from that fight is what happened.
What, with like momentum shifts and things like that, or what was happening?
Yeah, well, like Paul comes out and like beats the shit out of him in the first 4 rounds, and then in the middle and late rounds, Diaz, like, it's this insane cardio and his insane chin, and he's suddenly eating shots and not flinching from them, and he's, you know, throwing more shots. He's throwing like twice as many shots as he did in the first round, and it's like that weird Diaz cardio, and then it goes to a decision, and Jake Paul wins. So.
And then the Diaz's, they always say, "Oh, if that was another round, I'd have won that fight." That's like a common saying for them.
Maybe you should have negotiated for 11 rounds then instead of 10.
Well, Jake was making a joke of it in the build-up, and he was saying, "Oh, we should do 15 rounds." Shit like that.
He's probably glad they didn't actually do that, because I don't think Nate would have stopped him, but he would have won those last 5 rounds probably.
Yeah, maybe.
he never looked at any point like he was going to win the fight, you know, or anything close. I mean, maybe you give him 2 rounds, being generous.
2?
I'd say so, yeah. Nathan, what do you think? Anything different?
I think you could give him. I want to say I gave him the 4th, and then the 8th and the 9th.
So
and that was really just like activity. I don't think Diaz landed a single big power shot the whole night. He was just, there's a lot of, you almost say slap punches. I mean, he doesn't really load up on his shots ever. So it was just a lot of arm punching. Right. And Jake being either having a defensive deficiency where he couldn't just parry or block all of them, or just Diaz just out cardioing him and taking advantage of Paul gassing.
Then the slapping starts.
Well, he had him in a guillotine at one point. He really could have just cranked that down and ended the fight right there.
Is that why Jake Paul was saying, let's do it again in MMA?
I think he was planning to say that regardless, but...
I'm just going to have to do this through the phone.
Well, your voice sounds beautiful anyway, so...
Can you tell I'm sick? I sound
yeah,
really fucked up at the moment.
A little congested.
Just a little.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I instead went to my city's football club, soccer.
Soccer.
That's the. I think that's the proper term, but I think you Brits get a little upset when we say that.
Yeah, I think some Brits get way too. The thing is like 3/4 of the world, or world population, calls it football.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, I think that whatever organization has the world's best player can decide what we call it. And since we have Messi now, it's called soccer.
That's right. He is in MLS now. Oh, shit. Well, maybe the next time at the next U.S. Open Cup, Phoenix can get fucking wrecked by wherever Messi's playing.
You better start saving up for that now, because they were in Dallas playing FC Dallas, and the nosebleed tickets were $700.
Jesus. Fuck.
Yeah. I didn't go to that, needless to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Oh, you brokey. Can't you afford it?
Oh, yeah,
No, I'm
no.
broke.
Brokey.
Yeah, I spent that filling up my gas tank.
Thanks, Obama!
Oh, let's get into the recaps before I get more miserable, knowing that I'm gonna miss out on my namesake Messi. I was named that first. I'll let him know, by the way. On the 29th, the big one, UFC 291. This shit was great. We're going to go from the bottom up as usual. Kevin Holland submits Michael Chiesa in the first. That was, I think we were talking about how, like, Kevin Holland, his ground game is get out of the ground game and get back into stand-up. And, yeah, that was pretty cool. The role reversal there, I thought that was really fun to see.
It's not just that. Chiesa is known as, like, a submission specialist.
Oh, so he, like, the... gangly slender man got got the submission win over
Yeah,
the Submaster.
Chiesa used to fight at 55 as well, so I think he's just right size for welterweight, but Holland's a pretty big guy for welterweight, I'd say. He's almost a middleweight.
I think there was even talk of Chiesa retiring after that. I don't think that actually happened, but when he started taking off his gloves, the commentators thought that was about to happen, and that was kind of fitting considering he just got submitted.
Yeah.
It was like, man, you just got beat at like your thing. It's like, maybe it's time.
Chiesa's like part of the old guard as well. And there's like him and Tony Ferguson. You know, they were like Khabib's generation, roughly. You know, the McGregor lot to
Yeah, that was quite a bit ago, isn't it? Like their heyday was 10
exactly.
years ago?
8 years ago, I'd say.
Okay.
2016.
All right.
Not
too bad.
When Chiesa was maybe in sniff for a title shot or chance at lightweight at one point, he was ranked in the top 5, if I recall correctly. He was the next big thing for a while, but yeah, as you can tell, that didn't really pan out.
Not quite. Speaking of not panning out, Tony Ferguson gets submitted in the third by Bobby Green. Was this as bad as you were expecting?
There's a yes and a no answer. The no answer is he didn't get like completely mauled, like he didn't get knocked out horribly again. But the yes to it is he got submitted, and that's like, if you're a Tony fan, that's got to be the most deflating thing ever. Watching a submission artist like Tony get subbed, like it's like we were just talking about that for Chiesa. It's like times 100 for Tony. That's not something I don't think anyone ever expected to see. And by a guy like Bobby Green, he's got single-digit submissions or something like that. He's not got a lot of.
He's
not
a striker.
Yeah.
He's not some guy.
Wow.
So that was I wouldn't say it's embarrassing, because I mean he's had an incredible career. This doesn't take anything off of his legacy, but it's still like, that's kind of a depressing way to watch a legend go out.
Is this on the same tier of Roy Jones?
Ooh.
Like the dude really overstaying his welcome, really looking shitty, but he keeps doing it anyway.
Ferguson's part, yeah. Ferguson took some real damage in 2020 from Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje fought him, and he stopped Tony. And nobody stops Tony because he's tough and he's got cardio for days. That's like his cardio is a weapon. He fights at a pace that his opponents just can't live with. And Gaethje just battered him from pillar to post for 3.5, maybe 4 of like the 5 rounds they were in there.
Yikes.
Yeah, the sort of damage that Gaethje did is the sort of damage that takes time off your life. That was how bad a beating it was.
Yeah, that's definitely not good. Yeah, might be time to start looking for the exit there, if this is how it's going to keep going.
Yeah, he's lost 6 straight now. So it's like, what is there left for you to do? There's no title shot. There's no legacy fight. There's just you hurting your body even more if you continue fighting at this point. For whose benefit?
Well, what's left for him to do? So he got knocked out in 4, was it? Submitted in 3. So we need like what, a knockout in 1, knockout in 2, submission in 1.
Yeah,
he's got to tick all the boxes.
We can only go further down.
Yeah, the downward spiral can only continue. Oh man, somebody needs to have a really hard conversation with him.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis, ranked 11th at heavyweight, gets a stoppage in 1.
Oh yeah, he did.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Clearly the fight of the night across both sports that night, I think.
Yep.
Unless you're a Crawford fan, I don't know. In which case, like surgical destruction, picking Errol Spence apart, that would have been sweet.
Derek was like almost in shape as well. Like he looked like he'd taken his camp seriously. He wasn't like as fat as he usually is, and he looked serious. And he got a crazy knockout. This is the type of Derek Lewis that sort of I and a lot of other fans fell in love with.
So fighting an unranked guy at rank 11, does he move up or down or anything, or does he just Does he just stay there?
Probably stay where he is, I'd imagine.
All right. So then, what was the point of this? Keeping him busy, or
This was seeing if he even stays on the rankings.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
He has been on a not very good run. I don't think he's on a losing.
Yeah.
Oh no, he is. He lost to.
He lost like 3 in a row, I think, or something like that, or 2 in a row.
3.
Lost 3 in a row. 4 out of his last 5.
Wow.
So he's not on a good run. So this was, at least he didn't lose here.
Yeah.
But he also did it in a crazy fashion. Like, I never thought he would be able to defy the Earth's gravity like that. Like, no one is supposed to be. Someone his size should not be able to get off the ground like that.
Nah, I agree with you.
Well, maybe it was the thought of losing his ranking that made him really step it up in camp and take the whole thing.
What did you think of his post-fight interview?
Amazing, again.
I don't recall it, to be honest with you. I was double screening with boxing, so I didn't.
That's fair. The one thing he said, they asked him, it's like, did you plan that flying knee? He's like, no, I just kind of did it. Like, he just went up and he just kept going. Another all-time interview, as always.
That's my boy. That's Derek.
Yeah, he's an all-timer on the mic. I want to say that Kevin Holland also was chopping it up pretty well.
Yeah, he does. He's good like that. Yeah. He's another one later where they'd love it if he could become champion with the UFC because they know he's going to sell pay-per-views.
Yeah, definitely. Derek Lewis is funny, but is he good? Well, before he went on his skid, how high up was he in the rankings?
He got a title shot. He fought DC.
Ooh.
He was ranked like number 2 or 3 at one point.
So he can.
I mean, he beat Ngannou once. I mean,
yeah.
It was one of the worst fights of all time, but he beat him.
Yeah, it wins a win, I suppose. Oh, wow. Speaking of wins being wins, Alex Pereira split decision over Jan in his light heavyweight debut. This was on when Spence Crawford was on, so I didn't watch it. And I didn't go back and watch it either. But is there anything worth noting here? Like, how did Pereira look?
He looked good. He looked like himself, to be honest.
Didn't look drained or anything? Or bloated?
No, not at all. He, I think they said he weighed like 223 pounds on fight day.
Jesus.
I think that's what they said this time. But he was doing that down when he was fighting at middleweight as well, mate. Like, Izzy maybe weighs like 195 pounds maximum. You think he's got to get hit and fight that guy? He could be a fucking heavyweight. Could Pereira?
Yeah, he could.
It's an insane weight cutting.
I don't see any reason why he couldn't go up either. I mean, he's got the time, and at least in this fight, he really improved on his biggest deficiency, which is his wrestling. And he actually managed himself well when Jan was on top, and he was able to stuff a lot of takedowns and keep Jan from completely bullying him. So that was a big step as far as his skill development goes in MMA.
So the likely next step is the number 1 guy, I forget his name, but for the vacant belt, if I'm not mistaken.
This would be for I think this was pretty much like a title, sort of contender.
Title
fight.
eliminator.
Yeah, it was an eliminator
Yeah,
who gets the fights the number 1 guy to fill the gap.
If Yuri Proskov can come back by the end of the year, or maybe like early next year, Alex Pereira will probably fight him for that title.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Is he out on injury or something?
Yeah, he totally screwed up his knee.
Yikes.
Or something like that.
So the champ, Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill, that's right. He got a Achilles tendon rupture, right?
Yes, I believe he did.
Okay, so an Achilles tendon and then a bum knee, and then there's Alex. Wow.
Jeez. Yeah.
Those are rough injuries to come back from.
If you were like a coach of like a sports team, you would not want that person in your squad, would you? Do you know what I mean? Like, they're going to be injured a lot of the time. They're going to be a waste of money most of the season.
Yeah, I think over here we do injured reserve, where like they're out for the season on like partial pay to rehabilitate.
Oh no, there's no partial pay here. It's full pay.
Unless you're Stephen Thompson, then you get no pay.
Well, yeah, true. That's well remembered. That situation is just shit, especially considering that Stephen's like one of the most liked guys in MMA as well.
And he's what the UFC would call like the company man. Like, he does what the company says, no questions asked, and
yeah,
they're still fucking him anyway.
Never badmouths the brass.
Not to my knowledge.
All right, let's hit the main event. Justin Gaethje. As much as I wanted him to win, I didn't think he was going to, and what a surprise! The result kicked me in the face. So how was this set up? Nathan, you picked Dustin. How did Justin get the setup to land the finishing kick there?
So he's done something, I don't know if he's done this before, but he got that knockout by doing this something called the same side combo, where typically you know, in boxing you throw a left and a right, or right left or something like that. That's your alternating combination. But in MMA there's been this thing where you throw your right hand and then you immediately throw a same side kick, and so the opponent sees that right and they go to the other side because they think the left is coming, when really they're leaning into
nice.
a right hand shot. And there's been other guys that have done it. So like Stephen Thompson, who we just mentioned, he's one of the guys who's done it earliest. So it's not like totally new, but now we're seeing a lot more of it. That's how he caught him, and it comes out of nowhere. Like, up into that fight, Dustin looked good. I thought he seemed like he was winning the majority of the exchanges, and then out of nowhere he just gets blasted, and it's like, if you're not prepared for that, what are you gonna do? I mean, like, it's not a shot you can recover from. You don't have, like, especially when there's no 10 count, like, you're toast. You can only make that mistake one time, and you're not gonna survive it most of the time.
Yeah, the amount of guys that you see like weathering a shot like that or continuing after is very low. Usually that sort of shot will knock a guy out. And it's like, I always say, like, your legs are just so much more powerful than your hands. Anybody can knock somebody out of a leg kick, like, pretty much regardless of what physical shape they're in. So it is a deadly move.
Where does Dustin go from here? Now that he's...
Dustin?
Yes.
He goes nowhere. I think he takes Justin's number 3 spot. I mean,
I'd love to see him versus Colby, because they hate each other.
Oh, yeah. That's actually not a bad idea.
Because let's be honest, I know Colby's fighting Leon for this belt, right? But he's not going to beat Leon, so we've got to think of fights like that for Dustin. So I think a fight versus my guy would be a very good business move for him as well. They could sell the beef, rack up them pay-per-views, baby.
Or even if Colby does win, I mean, who's to say Dustin doesn't just go up and wait and immediately challenge? Like,
yeah,
that division is not crazy loaded right now. I think they could justify it.
Yeah, it's just been the same as like what they did with Conor and Ronda. Like, Conor got a title shot super early. Ronda, they basically made her champion before she'd even had a fight in the UFC, when they brought her in as a woman for the first time.
And what about for Justin? What does he have standing in his way from a title shot?
Oh, well, that's it. He will get a title. He'll fight the winner of this fight in September, October. Charles versus Islam 2.
I don't see anything getting... The only thing that could potentially get in the way is Volk, but the UFC would be insane to put Volk and Justin for a non-title fight. So it's not really a wrench in that plan. He should be up next.
And if let's just say Justin wins against the winner of Islam Oliveira rematch.
Oh man.
Very unlikely, but Volk would probably be coming after that.
Yeah, I would imagine. And I don't even know what I would pick. Like, as highly as I rate Volk, if Justin like, let's say he head kicked Islam and knocked him out. Like, that's such an insane win. I don't even know how you'd rate that. I don't know how you'd look at him. It would totally change his legacy as a fighter if he were to go do that, or if he beat Oliveira in a rematch. I mean, wow! Like, it would totally change your perspective on that guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Good stuff. Moving on to the 5th, if you all are ready.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bottom up here, stop me if you need to. Ludovic Klein, UD over Ignacio Bahamondes. Tanner Bozer, UD over Alexa Kamur. This one I wanted to talk about briefly. Diego Lopez submission 1 over Gavin Tucker. That was cool as fuck. If you didn't see it, I recommend at least checking out that highlight. Gavin's going for he's shooting in for the takedown. Diego Lopez like, yeah, no, I'm just going to jump on you with my legs and then put you into a triangle. Night, night, Gavin. Dustin Jacoby, ranked 15th, gets the KO1 over Kennedy Zichuku. I remember them saying that Kennedy was coming in off of a lot of momentum and that he had pretty heavy hands. And he was tagging up Jacoby pretty well. And it's really strange. The combination that started the stoppage was Kennedy landed like 2 or 3 shots on Jacoby's face, and Jacoby hits one counter on the button. Just one of those like perfect ones, like Pacquiao on Ricky Hatton. It's just right on the money, and Kennedy was done.
And he caught him like almost falling away too.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful shot.
It was a nice one. Very cool little striking finish there. Oh man, you mentioned changing of the old guard. Andrade gets submitted in 2. She was one of the top female names, right?
Yeah, she was champion at one point.
Yeah, I think she's always been very beatable though, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's like a lot of the women's, the sport moves so quickly that, that kind of just attracts on to a lot of fighters.
It was a cool little submission there.
Tatiana Suarez herself, she's been around for a while now too. Maybe like 8 years, something like that, I'd say.
It's a long time for anyone.
Yeah.
Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to mention on this one? I don't think so. Okay, the main event, Corey Sandhagen ranked 4th. Gets the UD over Rob Font, ranked 7th. They were both, they're both bantamweights, but this was contested at a catchweight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think...
140 pounds.
There was... I had a different name listed previously, and Rob Font might have come in as a later replacement, and that might be why. Didn't have a full count.
Yeah, he did. He did, yeah. Sandhagen was meant to be fighting somebody else, wasn't he?
Like Umar something or other.
Was it Umar?
Yeah, it was. It was Nurmagomedov.
That's the one.
It's Khabib's little brother, that.
Is he?
Pretty sure. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, so that's who Sandhagen was supposed to fight, but obviously not. I honestly only saw the first round and a half of this one, so I can't really speak to it too much.
Oh, well, you saw the entire fight then, because that's the entire fight went.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess I did. Oh, I don't feel too badly about that one anymore. I remember Rob Font we talked about him on one of the first episodes we did, and he was ranked in the lower half of the 11 to 15 range. So pretty cool that he's making the climb.
Chief, did you catch what Rob Font's corner said at one point?
No, what did it say?
So it was in between the 3rd and 4th round, I think, and Font was just getting beaten pretty one-sidedly.
Yeah.
His corner said something along the lines of you need to get your head out of your fucking ass, and you need to, go after this guy. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, but you need to get your head out of your ass.
Oh.
It was weirdly wholesome. He's like, sorry man, I'm just trying to get you to go.
You need to get fired up. That's nice.
It didn't work though, but it was a good effort, I guess.
Oh, good stuff. Sandhagen, when I saw him fight Marlon Vera, was it?
Yeah.
They had a pretty exciting scrap, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So, if this was contested at a catch weight for font's sake, I'm assuming that they're both going to continue campaigning at 35.
Yeah. These guys are both 35ers.
And so, coming up, which we'll be speaking to more at length in a moment, but it's Sterling and O'Malley, right?
Yes,
it
is.
The title fight coming up.
Cannot wait for that, even though my boy's probably going to get beat.
All right, well, let's get... No, that's in 2 weeks. Never mind. So we got a fight night card to get through. But yeah, let's keep it moving so we can get to that sooner rather than later. Points total. We didn't do any picks for the 5th, so 28-31. Chief is still a little bit ahead. I would say this coming weekend, the most important card is on Friday, Bellator 298. I'm absolutely kidding. Saturday, August 12th. So Bellator's on if you want to watch that. Is it the same for MMA fans? This, like the way that it is for like boxing fans? Like I consider myself the term that I self-assigned is I'm a degenerate and I just watch anything. Are there people like that, or is it like UFC loyalty?
Yeah, I'd say there's the vast majority UFC fans only, but sort of the non-hardcores, I'd say, for most of them anyway. And then for the hardcore group, you've got a few people who will watch anything.
Yeah.
Me personally, I will not watch fucking. I'll watch a couple of Bellator. Like it has to be two huge names that I've never seen compete before.
Bellator versus Ryzen. That to me sounds pretty fun.
I think it would be if it was like remotely competitive, but I think Bellator just went like 4-0 again, and the one other
Ryzen.
fight was another and then one fight was a no contest. So you might as well round that up to 5-0 again.
Bellator versus Ryzen. Bellator plus PFL versus Ryzen. Then they need to purchase Ryzen and Legacy Fight Alliance, and then they could and Cage Warriors, and they could have like a WWF invasion arc.
Cage Warriors is already owned by the UFC.
Oh, that's okay. That makes sense.
I'll be totally down for a WCW, ECW style invasion into WWF.
Yeah.
I'd fully support that in the current order.
And because they don't get all the stars, some of the UFC guys have to defect to the invasion groups because they don't sign everyone. Right. Let's get this fight night card out of the way here. Bottom up, Josh Fremd. He's a friend, but he has an M.
M as in Mancy.
Versus Jamie Pickett, middleweights. Josh Parisian versus Martin Boudet. This is a rescheduling at heavyweight. Pauliana Viana versus Yasmin Lucindo. I think I've seen Lucindo fight a few times. Orlando Vanada versus Mike Breeden, lightweights. Khalil Roundtree, ranked 13th, versus Chris Dacus, 14th at light heavyweight. And Vicente Luque versus Rafael Dos Anjos, ranked 9th at welterweight.
That's an alright scrap. Luque versus Dos Anjos, isn't it?
They were saying...
That's a great one.
Yeah, the commentary on the Sandhagen card, where they were saying that Dos Anjos has been around for a while, like veteran of the wars, but still has a lot left in the tank, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be the case if he's at least in the top 10.
And old Vicente Luque, he's like a fan favorite of mine. He's been in a lot of crazy wars, a lot of really exciting fights. He's unfortunately fallen off. He's not shown to be championship capable, but I would expect this fight to be really good.
Guys, I'm sorry, Leo, if you pushed this out, but this might be a cool little segment to do. So, as we're recording this,
we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi there. So at this point, we kind of got distracted by the news that Dillian White, in boxing, Dillian White, who was going to be Anthony Joshua's next opponent, the fight was canceled. He was removed from the event because he got caught for a performance-enhancing substance, or a banned substance, I should say. And we kind of went off on a little tangent of like who's going to fight, who could fight, who's available for Anthony Joshua. And I was going to originally just have a a timer, like give you a time to skip ahead, but it went on for a few minutes, so I'm just gonna give you this little blurb instead. If you want to hear that shit, I'll put it on at the end after the outro and everything, if you want. We gotta get back onto business here. I'm leaving all this shit in. Like, I'll put in like a note, like skip ahead X amount of time, and you'll. If you don't want to hear boxing talk, UFC 292 is coming up. This one's gonna be in Boston, so that's kind of fun. Oh shit, Marlon Vera, I forgot. I didn't know. I forgot that he was on this, but yeah. Bottom up here, Marlon Vera ranked 6th versus Pedro Munoz ranked 10th at bantamweight.
That's a fun fight.
Is this the second time they've tried to make this fight?
Yeah, I think so. I think somebody missed weight before or something like
that. All right, Cody Garbrandt versus Mario Bautista, another bantamweight fight.
Banger.
Is it?
Cody's probably got to win this, hasn't he? Otherwise, his career,
Is he at that if he loses, he's gonna get cut kind of thing?
No, I think he's a good enough name, and has an exciting enough style for the UFC to like make up an excuse to keep him around. But like, if he has any aspirations of like doing something in his division, he's got to win.
Yeah,
I see. Well, he's on the championship card, so kind of one of those who could be next. Possibly you. Welterweights: Jeff Neal ranked 8th versus Ian Machado Gary ranked 13th. So he's Irish, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the guy who does the whole Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, he did some cringe shit at like his last win. Did he like copy McGregor's like
the hands up, walking around?
He did something like that. Yeah,
it's like the "Are you not entertained" kind of thing.
He made himself look a bit of a twat. I'm not going to be honest. Like, I don't think the fans were that arsed about it. So I hope Jeff Neal fucking knocks him out of a spinning kick.
Wow, he's going against your own. Oh wait, I don't want to misspeak. I forget if
he's
you're
an Irish citizen.
I claim both. Yeah.
So okay. Well, I don't want to.
Whenever it suits me to be British, I'll be British. Whenever it suits me to be Irish, I'll be Irish.
Well, I think I have more faith in your countrymen than you do, or maybe you just hate him. I don't know. But I don't think we'll be smoking the Ian Packwatch this weekend. But
if he's going to act like Conor, then I want him to lose like Conor.
Jeff Neal is definitely the kind of guy that will put you out if you give him like the chance. So if he like tries to style and like does something stupid and gets caught, like it's very possible that Neal would be the one to do it.
Ooh.
He's got like Shadow Realm type power. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when he puts people out, they're fully out. There's no semblance at all of them being maybe not out.
Weili Zhang. This is the strawweight champion versus Amanda Lemos, ranked 4th. Yeah, Yasmin Lucindo. When they were talking about the lineup for the Fight Night card, they mentioned that. And also, motherfucking Tatiana Suarez, who just choked out Andrade. They were talking about both of them for Weili as a possible future opponents.
Well, Weili's already been the champ before. So she still is now. I think I was looking at the wrong line there. Lemos isn't much of a challenge, much of a threat, if I'm honest. I think Weili will just melt through her, just outstrike her, and really just beat the brakes off her.
I'm not expecting much either, like because of all the women's fights that we talk about, like it really doesn't seem like there's a whole lot standing in Weili's path to continue reigning. I think the only one that I maybe thought was Andrade taking another run at the belt, but after what happened last weekend, I mean, who's to say? Let's get to the main event. Bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling fights ranked number 2 Sean O'Malley. Is he still second? Let me make sure I got that right, because I'm pretty sure he is. Yep.
Sterling wins this, right? Surely.
Mravdvalishvili or something?
It's difficult to see a path for O'Malley to win unless, like, Sterling's got to fight like a complete idiot. The easy thing for him to do is just get Sean on the ground, and then the fight's over. Either he submits him or he controls him for 90% of the fight and wins a decision. The only chance Sean has is if the fight stays standing on the feet long enough for him to land something big. Is it possible? I guess, but like, man, it's an area we haven't seen Sean like truly excel at, is like wrestling. And maybe he's done some more stuff in camp to prepare, but I don't know, man. If Aljamain fights smart, he should win.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And the bit that I have seen of Sterling, which is not a lot, I admit, but he seems to be like a really higher IQ kind of guy, where like he knows his strengths and he keeps it within those lanes. He doesn't like really let shit get out of his control, as best he can, of course. But I don't think that he's gonna want to stand up with Sean just not to leave an opening for him to do anything.
Reaching deep into the Doritos bag.
Can you hear?
Yes, very much.
Is that my bad?
But yeah, I mean, at the same time though, Sean has got, like, I'm a believer in his power. Like, he has serious one-shot knockout power. He can knock you out with his feet. He can knock you out with his hands. I believe, but this is just a really bad matchup for him. If he was fighting against another, like, striker heavy person, I would want to favor him, but he's not. So
maybe like Marlon Vera. If I remember, he's a bit of a...
Oh, he'd smoke Vera at this point.
Yeah, easy.
Oh, man, do we want to do picks on these?
I could do picks on the whole 292 card.
I could do everything.
All right, let's boogie then. Let's go bottom up again. Marlon Vera or Pedro Munoz?
Vera for me.
I'll take Pedro.
Nice. Cody Garbrandt, Mario Bautista.
I'm rolling with Cody.
Mario for me.
Fun. Jeff Neal, Ian Machado Gary.
Jeff Neal.
Oh, you're crazy. Ian's winning this by knockout.
Oh, we're getting serious. Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos.
Zhang.
Oh, easy.
Both of you?
Yeah, Weili.
All right, cool. And Sterling O'Malley.
Sterling for me. I'm gonna play it safe.
Yeah, I'll take Sterling as well. I want to play risky, but I played risky in the last card and didn't work out. So
that you did. Oh, man, of the few fighters that are on TikTok, Sean O'Malley is one of them. The dude is cringe as fuck. I really hope he loses.
He does have a very. I understand how you could call him cringe. Like,
yeah.
I know what you mean.
I know the angle he's going for. It's obvious, but like I'm being caught in it. I'm caught by exactly what he wants. Is either you're gonna love him or hate him for what he does, and I don't care for it. But I mean, at the same time, I like Adrian Broner, so say what you will.
O'Malley posted a really funny TikTok the other day. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. It was like he was like making out with his like training dummy or something, and then the camera comes around the corner. And he's like, "No, that's not what it looks like."
Yeah,
That's the style of humor he has, and I don't know. I guess it works. He gets numbers.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's what matters. Mid-year picks. We've been putting this one off for a bit, but we're here. I didn't list mine because, not all of them anyway, because I knew that some of them might be kind of dumb, so I wanted to not let you have a chance to read it beforehand. But we picked 6 categories: fight, fighter, knockout, submission, beating and schooling. So to differentiate, a beating is just, one-sided ass kicking, may or may not go the distance, typically goes to the later rounds. Schooling is not high damage necessarily, but the levels are very clear. So yeah, we'll get to it, and if you guys want to explain your picks. But for fight of the year, I think we all picked the same one. We did. Makhachev versus Volkanovski. I think we all picked this one. For me, this was the fight that inspired this entire podcast, so I had to. There have been others that were really entertaining, but
yeah, that was just such an incredible card. Like, especially when the smart part of your brain said, "Oh, Makhachev's just gonna maul him." So to see Volk not allow that to happen to him, but also to like do things we've never seen done to like that kind of Sambo style of wrestling. And just the fact he's coming up in weight and knocking down the bigger guy in the closing moments, and it's like so much energy and drama around that fight. It was just perfect.
It was a great one.
Joe, we just had Bud-Spence, and really, even though Bud's performance is amazing, we didn't really get the super fight that we were promised. In this one, we definitely got the super fight.
Yeah.
There was moments where Islam stung Alex, and he was, out on his feet. There were moments where Alex did the same to him. And then, like, as you say, Nathan, seeing Volkanovski, who's a much shorter guy than Islam, go and basically neutralise the Sambo style. He was sort of taking the piss at one point, wasn't he? When Islam's trying to choke him, and he's like hitting Islam with his own hand. With himself.
Mm-hmm.
That was an amazing moment in the fight. Just an amazing moment in fighting. So.
Anything more before we go to fighter? All right. Chief picked Volkanovski. Nathan, Volkanovski or Jones? I don't know. You want to put your hat on one?
It's hard because Volk has got. He's 1-1 this year, but his losses to probably the pound for pound best, or one of them, and everything we just said about that fight, why he was able to make that fight close, and then you add on to what he did to Yair a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's a great case, but at the same time, I think Jones coming off an incredibly long layoff and then just completely annihilating the best guy in his division. I know the guy's from France, right? And we can't. I don't want to hold that against him too bad, but like, that is a seriously good performance, and it's like I still have to tip my cap to Jones on that.
Yeah, that was. We were extremely curious, weren't we, to see what heavyweight Jones was going to be like. A lot of us thinking, surely he can't be as dominant at heavyweight as he was at light heavyweight, and then he goes in this fight, submits the guy. Within like a minute of the first round, makes it look like child's play. It was pretty rad.
Oh man, actually, the case that you made for Volk is exactly the reason that I picked Diego Lopez as my fighter of the year, the mid-year so far. He comes in, I think he had like 5 days notice to take the Evloev fight. And he gives him a fucking rough fight that you could argue that he might have won. And he gets that fight of the night bonus. Then he comes back onto the last fight night card, gets another fantastic performance. I don't know if that was fight of the night, but it was a highlight reel type of shit. So that 5 days notice thing, that to me says a lot about his capability. And I think he demonstrated that again when he was brought back.
Okay. That's a good pick. I actually like that.
Damn it! no casual roasting.
It was well argued. It's actually well argued.
Yeah, I did want to go like a little diamond in the rough, kind of. But it's like I saw his UFC debut, which was that less than a week notice. So like, man, we're on the rise together, Diego. It's you and me, buddy. I'm riding the train. Okay, let's get the KO. Chief, you had Barbosa Quarantillo, and Nathan Adesanya Pereira 2. I remember when you mentioned that, Chief was like, oh shit, I could probably go with that one too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was definitely a good one.
Yeah. Barboza's just the guy, isn't he?
He is. Eddie Gordo.
Yeah, I think the Barboza KO was quite a bit more violent, but for me, like, when you add just the championship stakes in the history between Adesanya and Pereira, like, that was just like, and he knocked him out the same way he hurt him in the first fight too. Like, that was just like man, he really did see something in that first fight, and he I don't want to say just got unlucky, but he just wasn't able to pull it off. But in the second fight, he got his chance and he did it.
I honestly don't remember what information that I wanted to relay with this one, but I had Jim Miller knocks out Jesse Butler.
Oh, that's fair. That was a great knockout.
Yeah, I don't think I had a whole lot to say on it. Just look at it. I'm not sure what more you want. But yeah, it was mine. Okay, submission. Yes, weird that Chief, you went with Jones over Gane. Nathan, you had Grasso over Shevchenko. What's weird about it is your justification for fighter, Nathan, is the submission choice for Chief. That's what I don't know. Maybe that's ironic or something. I don't know.
It maybe should have been. Maybe Jones and Gane should have been my sub, but the Grasso coming out of nowhere for that upset. I mean, not out of nowhere, but like that was like, I remember us talking about that fight,
gonna get
preview,
whooped.
clearly like oh, Shevchenko's gonna whoop her, like this is not the night she's like suddenly fallen off a cliff. And then we woke up on Sunday morning and it's Grasso just won and submitted this long time champ out of nowhere. Whereas the Jones fight, it wasn't just that he got the submission, but like after all that ring time, it's like there's no rust, there's no hesitation. I look at that as more of like the performance as a whole rather than just the finish.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of
that's good.
Worked my way to there.
Right, submission. I did try to give this one a little bit of a humorous angle. Morono misses the Beyblade and then catches Means in a guillotine. That was my submission. I really just wanted to put Beyblade in there again.
Beyblade.
But it was pretty cool. Like he was maybe behind on the card, on the scores, and then he tries to do something flashy, completely misses, and then he fails upward. It was great. All right, beating. I'll just give mine first on this one. Beauties are the beasts. Macy Barber beats up Amanda Ribas. That was my pick. that was fantastic. This isn't the first time that you could put like Barber's fights in as like a top selection.
Yeah.
For the year, for this part of the year anyway. Man, Volkanovski Rodriguez is good. That's a good one. That was like way more one-sided than I was expecting.
And poor Robert Whitaker too. That's a good shout. I don't know how much you want to talk about that, Chief, but
I'd like not to talk about it if possible.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you had a sad face on that one. I didn't transcribe it. For the schooling, I went with Holloway versus Allen. It was
that was a pretty good schooling.
That was just Holloway was just clearly a step above, always a step ahead. Allen had some minor success, but of course, they're elite athletes. He's going to have some, but Holloway's clearly in a category above. It was really good. Edwards Usman. Did I see correctly that Nate Diaz clipped Edwards once and like really had him wobbly?
Oh yeah.
It was in the last round. Yeah.
That's part of where like Diaz has had this kind of aura of like invincible chin and cardio, and that's a fight that really fueled it because he got his ass beat for 4 rounds, really four rounds and 4 minutes, and then in the last second he catches Edwards perfectly and he almost puts him out.
You know what I forgot about was upset. I forgot about that as a category altogether. Grasso Shevchenko would have been my pick anyway.
Grosso's, yeah, that would definitely be up there.
I can't recall another upset that had that magnitude. Like all of the details surrounding it. Grosso, and then they're doing the rematch, which I hope Grosso wins again.
Yeah, Shevchenko's been champ there for a very long time, and after a while it just gets a bit stale, and you just want a new face as champion, to be honest.
Yeah. It was part... As much as, like, I respected the talent, the skill, generational greatness, but, like, it was, like, with Mayweather, it's like, yeah, you're awesome. Oh, awesome, you schooled another guy. Great.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, you schooled another guy. Great. Okay. Even if he was knocking guys out, like, cold, it doesn't matter. It's like, this is the same fucking guy over and over. It gets a little old.
On that note, that is kind of why I picked Fig Moreno as my schooling of the year, just because that was like a fight that was the opposite of that, where like the first 3 fights were all amazing, and then the last fight was like, oh, this is like kind of boring, and this is sort of like expected is not the right word, but like if you saw a guy fight someone else 4 times, you wouldn't expect the 4th fight to also deliver, but just considering how the other 3 had been, you're kind of like hyped for war, and then it was like, oh well, this was just
mundane finality,
right?
Like
Mediocrity.
Pacquiao knocking out or getting knocked out by Marquez, or is that was actually really, really cool?
Well, that was actually
no, yeah.
Set.
Never mind, that was really awesome.
Oh! That's another knockdown. He's not getting up, Jim. Get up. He's not getting up, Jim. He's not getting up. No, he's been knocked out.
What happened?
No, I just I'm thinking about the videos that, like, those compilation vids where like they alternate Mexican family watching Pacquiao Marquez 4, Filipino family watching Mexican family, Filipino family, and there's the the contrast.
If you ever want to see the soul of a nation ripped out, just watch those videos.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
That is exactly what happened. Oh man, the way the air leaves the room in the Filipino households. I would say I'm sorry, but I can't. All right, that's it for our mid-year picks. Decent little block coming up. Got the fight night next weekend. We'll have AJ versus Tony Yoka coming up. So that's kind of fun.
You will. No, you will not.
It's the perfect pick. Because AJ needs to get a win where he looks good. Tony Yoka does not have a spine, so it makes perfect sense.
I want the big baby. Fuck the drug test and just get big baby in there. Let AJ just let AJ give him a lesson. You know, because AJ can go in there knowing that this guy's on pens and trying to kill him.
Well,
that should fuel AJ into performing well for once.
He's been crushing chicken wings, though. The dude's like over 300 pounds.
Yeah, so what?
It was hilarious that the WBA had a little festival in Argentina. The knockout drugs, KO drugs out of sports. And they had Gerald fucking Miller headlining there.
No way.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep. Gerald Miller at first, like, I want to say his name was like Bracamonte or something.
Oh yeah,
I remember this.
Bracamonte. Who's Bracamonte? Him.
Yeah. Those two were the headlines. Gerald Miller came in like 320 pounds or something.
Oh yes, I do remember.
And then the other guy was also around 300. Like it was I think it was the heaviest boxing match ever.
Yeah, I do remember this happening.
They make Andy Ruiz look tiny.
Yes, they do actually, and he's a portly fella. Let's KO drugs out of sports. Those are my parting words.
I just want to say this could be my last episode ever because at the weekend, on Friday, I'm driving to Germany with a few mates of mine with nice cars, and we're going to be racing around the Nürburgring.
Around where?
Fuck yeah.
The Nürburgring. It's
Oof.
like a crazy 13-mile long racetrack in Germany. Like, It's like around a village, the track.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's...
Do you have a dash cam?
I don't have one. I'll see if one of the boys got... We've got walkie-talkies. Put it that way.
I definitely want to see a little bit of dash cam footage. That would look really cool.
I'll see if any of the guys... I won't be able to do it, so I don't have the camera for it all on the mount or anything, but one of the guys going might be doing it, but I'll have pictures and all sorts of stuff, so...
Yeah, definitely interested.
Yeah, so I'm taking my Beamer, which has got... I've had a new diff in it, I've had a limited slip diff put in it, and I've now got stronger, what do you call it, in the back? Like mount. Like the way,
Sounds
the way,
sick, dude.
Yeah, this.
yeah. They're like buffers. I don't know what to call them. They're like on the end of like, you know, suspension and stuff like that. So I've had that changed. It's transformed the way the rear of the car feels. Like the car feels all connected up now. It's, so anyway, I'm fucking going into sweat too much. So I might be dead, guys. So if not, have a great life. And stay fucking Tyson and Fury. Oh no, wait, that sounded a bit.
But yeah, pause on that one.
Pause.
Pause on that one.
Pause.
Oh man, oh man. I don't feel so bad about Errol Spence getting rocked anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because we had a good time here. That's why.
I'm glad this was good therapy for you, because my parting words are that I'm still depressed.
Sending hugs. Hug emoji.
Macy Barber, if you're listening. Dinner's at 6, as always, my dear.
Dear Macy, tire now and take no more damage, and come and take Chief's spot after he dies in a motorsport accident.
Oh. All right, fellas, I got to get back to it.
All right.
Was a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you all. If you listened all the way to the end, if you did, call me and I'll give you money. All right, until next time.
See ya.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you have any questions or comments on what was discussed or have a topic you'd like to hear on the podcast, you can leave a message on our unattended phone line at 833-589-7637. That's 833-LUX-PODS. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lvxentertainment.net.
All right, as promised, here is the boxing talk. Unedited, uncut, uncensored, all the other stuff.
Obviously, AJ's opponent White has just dropped out. He's failed the drugs test.
That's right.
I've just seen a tweet now that says Eddie Hearn has said on 5 Live, which is like a radio program, that Anthony Joshua fight for the weekend expected to be signed in the next hour and announced tonight or tomorrow morning. So we could be hearing about it while we do the podcast.
Fun. I was wondering what was going to happen because I saw that Dillian White pissed hot again. I mean, this isn't the first time. This is at least the second, if not more. I know that he's been in trouble for this. Okay, so he's been in trouble for this before. I'm not sure. What does he need to like pretend to have a mental breakdown so that they'll get off his back about it? That's what I've seen that works. Is like you just say you have a drug problem, and
I think it's actually 3 times now that he's pissed hot.
Yeah, the first time I remember it was some shit that was supposedly in a workout supplement that he got from...
Oh, Jack 3D.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken that before?
Yes, I have. That shit will fuck you up.
I took it when it was like illegal as well. Oh my god, that is such a good workout helper.
Yeah, it is.
Gives you crazy energy.
So I think that's what he pissed for the first time. That's what he popped for. It was some shit that you could get at GNC, but it's not approved for like professional athletes.
Then the second time, it was like I think they said it could be like nasal medicine.
That's right,
like
the fucking nasal spray.
Oxfilodrone or something like that. I think it was called. So he because I think Billy Joe got done the same way. His was like that. So now another time again. So I wonder what it's going to be this time, because the last two times have been sort of calm, not very hardcore steroids. Is he going to actually pop for like a real steroid this time? You know, like some fucking Winstrol or something.
It's a
like
chemical that's in his anal suppositories, man.
some Turinabol or something. Is he going to pop for something serious now?
Time to stop beating around the bush, Dillian. Here's some Nandrolone.
Nandrolone, yeah, I'm sure he's going to. Do you know what that fit? I can just see it next to his name in the news article now.
Man. Well, hopefully it's somebody fun. Who's really out there that's available on short notice?
Well,
I'm checking Twitter now.
Hrgovic is on the card. He's supposed to be the co-main. Hrgovic. And Derek Chisora is also on the card.
Either way.
So I'd love to see Doughboy, but
Chisora would be funny as shit.
That would be, but at the same time, it would be great. I would love to see for that happen for Chisora. Would be great, but at the same time, like, man, he's taken so much punishment over his entire career. Like, I don't want to see him take any more than he needs to. That would be really.
He's going to get a huge payday. He's going to get an AJ payday.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I would be excited for him, but.
Andy Ruiz tweeted out that he was calling for the trilogy in that that vacancy.
He was simping hard, wasn't he? He was twerking hard for matching with Joshua.
I mean, I don't blame him. It seems the only way he could beat Joshua is on short notice.
I think there's no way Joshua's management lets that happen.
Not again.
It's already happened once, bro.
We're not
I find out how many times out of 10 it goes whatever way. Like maybe 5 times Joshua wins, but this is 2 of the 4 times.
The short notice fights were AJ's losses.
Yeah, so I bet he's shitting it right now, because you think, like you say, he's lost to like short notice replacement fighters. What's gonna happen to him in the next week or so?
Dubois fighting Usyk.
Yep.
Also, there is like real pressure on Joshua to look good here, because if he looks like really wank, that looks really bad on Derek James, and that ruins Spence's chances in a rematch even more.
Derek James goes from trainer of the year to toilet of the year.
No, seriously, like he, if you looked at who he's signed recently, he's got Ryan Garcia, he's got Mel, he's been there for a while, Spence, and then Joshua. Then Frank Martin. And like, it's not inconceivable that all of those guys could lose in the next 12 months.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm not here to blame Derek James, but like, damn.
That would
not be a good look.
Bro, King Kong, Luis Ortiz.
Oh, please. That's like a dream fight of mine.
He's fucking available too. That. He is available.
Of course he's available. He fights like 50 times a year.
He hasn't fought in a year.
Oh, fuck off. Of course he hasn't.
Jang has the rematch with Joyce. Bakoli, the guy he fought in April. And before that, he hadn't fought in a year when he beat Tony Yoka.
Well, he was fighting loads of times before.
Yes.
Like when he was fighting Wilder, he'd be fighting like 4 times a year.
Dude, Tony Yoka's available for AJ.
Oh shit, bring it on.
What about Ngannou? Can we get Ngannou with AJ? Short notice. Get Francis in.
Oh.
Tony Yoka would be the funniest loss of all time.
I was just imagining him losing. You lose to Tony fucking Yoka on short notice. It's time to retire, buddy. Like, stop it. You're done.